Good morning and welcome to the Sri Lanka Morning Show. We have with us once again Asanka Gurusinghe, former Test player, one-day international player, World Cup winning innings. Nobody really talks about it. Good morning and welcome, Gura.
Good morning, Salah. How are you?
Good, thank you. We were discussing, we had a discussion here about the fundraising event, which you ran fantastic. The event was fantastic. There was a game. The function was really superb, probably the best function that I have been to. Not probably, the best function I have been to. How did that whole thing go, and how is the monies, and what has happened since then?
Yeah, look, I think thanks to all the support from Melbourne, not just Sri Lankans living here, even the Australians, we were able to donate $36,500 to the Cricketers Benevolent Fund, which is going to be called.
So it's going to be called the Cricketers Benevolent Fund? Yes,
that's right. It's got a board of trustees, which is 3 from the World Cup team, which is Roshan Mahanama, Pramod Wickramasinghe and myself. And we have the president and the secretary from the Players Association in Sri Lanka, and Aravinda is advisor to the trustees. So that went very well. We actually donated the money on the 3rd of January in Sri Lanka, and we got so much publicity about what we have done. And the great thing was we were able to donate some funds to 2 deserving past cricketers, Russell Harmer and AJ Samarasekara. So to me, all the hard work the team put in place for the last 6 months, plus the support we got from all Sri Lankans in Melbourne and Sydney both, was very happy to see that we were able to support initially 2 players.
So is this an ongoing thing with this benevolent fund, Gura?
It is an ongoing thing. So we are putting some plans together now to see how we can keep the consistency going, because we need support coming through, and that's the reason we want Aravinda to be advisor. And this is not this is not run by the 96 World Cup team. This is initiated by the 96 team. We want past cricketers, current cricketers to get involved in this, because everyone needs to remember that all the current players will be past cricketers one day. So we want this to go on for a long time. I had initial discussions with the Board of Control for Cricket in Sri Lanka as well about how they can join and support. It looks very good, but it might take a couple of months before we finalize this. We are looking at different fundraising events in England, US, Dubai, and in Sri Lanka.
And so what you're saying is you will hand this baton over to the present players who will become past players, or as long as Roshan and Pramod there and you are there, you will run it, and then you will hand over the things to people like that, people like Kumar Sangakkara, Mahela, very prominent past players who probably can get a bit more mileage for us?
Absolutely. Actually, we want them to join now, because yes, we have 5 board trustees, but at the same time, we would like their support, because we want them to be part of this fund. It's not for just the World Cup players. And with our first donations, you can see it was for Russell Harmer, who played way before me, and definitely AJ, who played against me.
I played with Russell.
I have seen Russell. I've seen Russell play when he was at BRC as well. But AJ, we both played against AJ, and yes, to see that we had a chance of supporting, 25, 30 years ago, nobody expected that this will happen.
Yes, I think that's fantastic. What you all have initiated is a very, very, I think late, but still done something for the players who've been struggling. There have been many players who have struggled in the past, and now at least you all have identified it and you have started this project. I think it's fantastic. You were in Sri Lanka recently with this project as well, I believe.
It is. We actually, I went down to donate the funds. We had a press conference which was organized by Players Association, and there were about 40 odd people from the press, from media attending, including about 4 or 5 TV stations. So we got the mileage we want to get the message out to people to say, hey, we need support. This is the foundation we are trying to put in place, but we need that support coming through.
So you were in Sri Lanka. So this is the biggest donation done by an organization like the Benevolent Fund or the funds that you raise. It's a big sum of money.
It is a lot of money, and it is, I think I heard it is the biggest amount of money that somebody has donated to a fund like this, for a charity fund. Initially we never expected it. When we were planning the event, we thought if we get somewhere between 15 and 20,000, it's a great effort. But once again, I just want to thank our sponsors and all Sri Lankans living here and the Australians who supported us that we were able to donate that $36,000, which was just over 4 million rupees.
That's fantastic. Coming back to being in Sri Lanka, Asanga, the cricket in Sri Lanka, the players are getting hammered by the press, players are getting hammered on social media, their performance in South Africa. What is your take on this whole thing?
It is sad because I feel that our team was not ready to play in South Africa, especially the batsmen. And I believe, this is my opinion only, that coaches should take responsibility for that, because what I got to know was they practice on cement wickets in Sri Lanka, trying to get used to play in South Africa.
You're talking about preparation for the tour?
Absolutely.
Cement means concrete wickets?
Concrete tracks, which we have. And to me, you cannot compare South African wickets to concrete tracks. And you got to have natural wickets, which is turf. Because you can have a hard wicket, ball can still change, the bounce, all of that. And to me...
In your opinion, would you think the seaming and the swing with the bounce that contributed to what we really lacked in mastering in South Africa?
Absolutely. I think we struggle against the bounce, the seam. And yes, South African had a super bowling attack. But if you look at some of especially the first test, it was bad batting. But even that, I go back to preparation, that we should have been prepared much better than that. We should have gone at least a week earlier if we had to. Even we had 2 weeks, I think, before the first test, which should have still be enough to prepare well. And I'll go back to 1990 when we toured New Zealand, playing against Martin Crowe's New Zealand side, which was one of the top New Zealand sides that we have played against. We had Stanley Jassing as manager, and Stanley used to go straight from the airport to every venue, and we were prepared wickets for training, same as the match wickets. And in Hamilton, I can still remember the match wicket was a green top and our practice wickets were green tops. And the ball was flying all over the place. We scored 400 runs.
And we won that series, didn't we?
We actually drew that particular series.
Drew that series.
But we scored heavily, because matches on any tour cannot be won unless the batsman put scores on the board. Yes, the Sri Lankan bowlers, I thought, did damn well in South Africa. But when you don't have runs to bowl at, you feel disheartened.
So you're talking about this preparation. Who is responsible for the preparation? And the players have to be prepared as well, isn't it?
Absolutely, the players have to be prepared. They are professionals, that's true. But I think these days they are professional coaches. And our coach is from South Africa. And if he didn't know how to get this side ready, especially in the batting side, I think there are questions to be asked. That's my opinion.
And what about the other specialist coaches? We have specialist bowling coaches, physical trainers, whatever, batting coaches, all these, so much stuff that you guys didn't have when you were playing at that time.
Which is true. I think these days they play nearly 10, 11 months of the year. So you need that kind of support staff. But I think the batting coach is Graham Ford as well, who is the national coach. So we don't have a batting coach touring with the national team. We have a bowling coach, and I think we have a fielding coach going in. And it's our batting that has been letting us down right through. So we need a specialist batting coach traveling with the team, as well as getting people prepared before the series starts. When the players walked into the middle, when they walk in, it's their responsibility and they have to be accountable. Absolutely. For some of the shots they played, which is not acceptable at that level. But at the same time, you've got to look at what preparation they have been doing. Batting on a concrete track, Salia, the ball comes, it's very nicely to bat. It's very nice to bat, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's sad, because our young team, to me, is very talented, got some really good players. They just need good direction, good support. And if you prepare them well, I think they'll do very well.
So in your opinion, we have the players, we have the young players who have potential, who have the talent. In your opinion, if they get a bit more professional coaching and preparation, we'll be competitive in the world?
Absolutely. I think they need to have, most probably they have, I don't know, they need to have KPIs, key performance indicators for the coaching staff, and review them every 3 months. What have they done? Because we lost 3-0, but the only thing we are hearing is captain's going to be sacked or the players are going to be dropped and sent back home. You're demotivating everyone. But the coaching staff is always there. They don't ask any questions.
It's like in an organization, if the company is not doing well, you're not going to sack the sales reps. The managers are answerable.
It is the first thing they do is to question the CEO. Is your strategy right? Is your preparation right? And that's what I'm asking the question is it right, what we have done? Players, yes, they have to take responsibility. They are professionals. They know what's happening. But it's preparation that's more important than anything else. And if they're not ready, then it's a problem.
Taking the 2020, Sandakan coming in and taking the 4 wickets and some new faces there. What's your take on that, on the 2020 aspect of it?
Well, I think 2020, to me, it's not a difficult thing to get used to for a player, not like getting used to a bounce of a wicket or swing or seam. You got 20 overs and you just go after the bowling from the first ball. Yes, there's a skill needed, but then what happens is in a longer game, whether it's 50 or test cricket, you have to bat a longer time. You have to plan better. You have to be more strategic. Yes, you have to be strategic in T20, but there's not much time to do all of that.
There's no better place on earth. Yeah, I dream of you, Sri Lanka. Yeah,
I pray for you, Sri Lanka.
my hopes on you, Sri Lanka.
Our sponsors are Prestige Robes and Screens,
Travel Talk,
Transco Cargo,
Southern Star Motors,
Colombo Money Transfer,
Fairfield Lawyers,
Techno Motors,
Forever Skin Naturals,
D Legal.
Sahandro.